This is a pyrography pen, and it's my new favourite tool. For a university project, I was needing to do an illustration on a wooden box, so I thought I'd use this opportunity to try out a new skill and get myself a pyrography pen and just burn the illustration into the wood. So this is the original illustration I'm basing it on, and I am just starting on a different piece of wood, not the final box, to get used to this new tool. And yeah, it's quite difficult because it comes with different tips that you first need to get used to, like chisel tips, round tips, pointy tips, are good for different purposes. And also what you have to take into consideration is the grain of the wood. So this first piece of wood, as you can see here, had a very strong grain, which made it really difficult to make lines that didn't go vertically up and down. Before moving on to the next trial illustration, I decided that I wanted to have more of a base to work on the actual drawing on the piece of wood, so I drew what I wanted in Procreate and printed it out on an A3 piece of paper. Covered the back of it in graphite and then used a different pen to transfer it through onto the wood. Now, wood isn't the best for this type of method because you don't get the lines exactly and they're not very strong, but it was enough for me to kind of go over it again with pencil and get the details I wanted, and it was mostly for the placement and sort of composition of the illustration anyway. This next one was like a lot better. Like the difference between this try and the first try was like night and day. I had kind of worked out which tips worked best for which part of the illustration, and also the grain of this wood was far better to work on. So as you can see, yeah, it just looks a lot nicer. But still, it wasn't 100% up to the standard that I wanted it to be. And I was just about to start burning into this lovely box that I just spent about a month making. And obviously with burning there's no erasing or starting over something. Once it's in there, it's in there. Also, this wood was different from the ones I'd used before, so I didn't know how it was going to react to the burning as well. Suffice to say, I was quite nervous. But there was really nothing else to do but to just get into it, so I just repeated the process of transferring the image. And yes, I always stick out my tongue when I'm concentrating. Luckily, the wood turned out to probably be the best one I've worked on so far. It was nice and hard so that the pen actually burnt into it rather than just like scratching it or like pushing the wood in as it had done with previous woods. And also the grain didn't influence my lines too much, so yeah, I was quite happy about that. And once I had like gotten into the groove of it and shed my initial nervousness and fear of fucking this up, excuse my French, it was actually a really satisfying and nice and therapeutic process working on this box and kind of seeing this immediate, tangible result in front of you. Yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. I mentioned in the beginning that this illustration is for a university project, so I guess I should probably explain a bit more about it. I'm not just randomly burning an illustration into a wooden box. So essentially my project is making a fake alcohol-free whiskey brand. It's called Cycling Nurses Alcohol-Free Whiskey, and yeah, this box is the box that the bottle goes into. So you know how sometimes with like fancy whiskies or alcohol you get like a wooden box, and alongside the box and the illustration on the box I also created a logo, a label for the bottle, and an informative leaflet and kind of like the overall branding for it. I will show all of that at the end, but I thought including like the process for every single aspect of this project would be a bit much for one video. With these last details just coming together, I'm also decided to add the logo of the alcohol-free whiskey brand that I made up on top of the illustration. I think the logo really rounds it off and gives it that authentic sort of whiskey look. Then I'm just adding a couple of clouds at the very end of this process. And that's the box done. Now cue the final shots. I'm incredibly happy with the outcome of everything that I made for this project. I learned a ton of new things alongside the wood burning that I'm doing in this video, also just woodworking and making the actual box, laser cutting for the cork lining on the inside of the box, label design, logo design, embossing for the leaflet, loads of new things that I wouldn't have done otherwise, and yeah, I'm incredibly happy with it. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed creating this alcohol-free whiskey brand. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and just generally click on anything that's on the screen right now. I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.